Tanya, Virginia, great to have you both here today. Thanks for joining me, and really been great to work with you and all the team at Live Oak. These are a couple of really exciting searches, and very thoughtfully designed, and looking forward to working with you on them. Want to just begin before we get into the searches and the structure that you have laid out. Just talk about yourselves and your backgrounds and what brought you to the school. Tanya, if you don't mind, I would love to have you go first.
Sure. Thanks, Gabe. Hi, I'm Tanya. I have spent pretty much my entire career in education, about 10 years in the classroom as a high school teacher, as well as a coach, and then decided I was ready to engage in education in a different capacity. So pursued a pathway in leadership and started that journey as an administrator at another high school for a few years before making my way to Live Oak. When I decided to leave high schools, I think I was really excited and I guess curious about what it meant to have touch points with students at a little bit earlier time in their formation, what it looked like to see, um, the ways in which students got to who I knew them as once they reached high school. And so I was excited about the opportunity at the time to explore the middle school head role at Live Oak. When I engaged with the website and got to know folks at the school and was welcome to be on campus. I think something that really stood out with me that allowed me to really see how the school lives out its mission in a really tangible way was in the way in which the students, adults, really everybody on campus was creating in so many different ways, creating a sense of knowledge, creating a sense of self, creating a community, and creating an understanding of their identity as it relates to that community. And that was really something that I think drew me to this school from an administrative lens. I think something that's always resonated with me about our belief in education is a co-creation of knowledge and understanding of identity and our relationship to the world, realizing our students' potential and promise. And that's something that we see in the classroom, but something that's really special for me in my role is that I think we really believe that potential in our educators as well. And we believe in the co-creation of an educational experience with our educators. And I think there's so much of the fullness of how our faculty and staff show up that is really special at the school. And I think something that both brought me here and keeps me here is that I know that we are collectively on a growth journey together. We believe that our ability to transform the world of education is here and is ripe, and we're exploring and taking risks to find different ways to get there together. And I think it's inspiring and it's exciting to be in a place that believes in the potential of everybody in its building, and that we're creating the future of education in a very live and active way.
That's wonderful. Well, that community, that journey, Virginia, you've been on that. You've been in the community and on that journey with Live Oak for many years now, and seen it evolve. Just talk a little bit about your background, but also just what has kept you there, and your insights as someone now who is leading that community.
Sure. Thanks, Gabe. And thanks, Tanya, for that introduction. I'll build off of a lot of what Tanya has said. So, and maybe draw some contrast. Tanya has come to Live Oak from the high school world. I came into education from the preschool world. So, I've been at Live Oak since 2001, and before that, I had about 10 years teaching experience in preschool and kindergarten. And I taught for a year at Live Oak, and then moved into an assistant head role for about 8 years, and then have been in the headship for the last 16. So yeah, something's been keeping me at Live Oak. And a lot of it is what Tanya touched on. This is a very mission-aligned community. Our commitment to supporting the potential and promise of each student, and appreciating that by supporting the potential and promise of each student, we're really fueling the potential and promise of our communities, keeps people refining their practice, developing their practice, alive in their practice, and really comfortable to to move through change. When a community is really aligned on what it's after, the kinds of things that we bring into play to shift our strategies around going after that mission land well and get a lot of momentum. So while I have been here for quite a few years, it's like no year is like the other, because I'm surrounded by different folks who have different strategic ideas in mind about how we can do our best for kids. Certainly watching the kids grow brings a lot of momentum too to our work. So it's just a place that appreciates the privilege we have to work with students on their education, to define their potential and the possibilities that they bring to the world. We take a great deal of responsibility in owning that privilege. And I think find a lot of, not I think, I know, find actually a lot of joy in working with such purpose, with our educator colleagues, with the families who pick Live Oak, and certainly with the students who join us every single day.
And that's it. You have, I mean, I've met the students, the faculty, the staff who come every day. And you talked earlier about supporting the potential and promise of each student. I see these division director roles helping to live that out, and also supporting the potential and promise of each member of the faculty. You talked also earlier about how the school has moved through some change, and I think it's important, and we discussed this in the document, you're evolving toward a new model of oversight and really care and feeding for the academic program, I would say, to support those potential and promises for students and faculty. But I want people to hear in your own words what sort of has been led you to realize this is the right model, and how you see that structure playing out, and really what's going to be the right partnership for you all as you think about the next chapter. Tanya, if you want to maybe hop in, and then I'll have Virginia think about it too.
Sure, yeah. Something that I have always really valued about the work here, as Virginia mentioned, kind of processes of change or thinking about how we're doing better for our students, is that everything in my experience that we've considered, thought about, made changes toward has been from 100% student-centered approach. How can we do better for our students? How can we help see each one of our students in a deeper, more full way? And the consideration around this shift has really been around how do we best support the people who are doing that work, and how do we give them the capacity to really dive in and do that work more deeply, more holistically, in a way that feels holistic and authentic to them as well. And part of our belief in that is helping create a system and a structure that allows our educators to be very deeply seen in the ways that we want our students seen, to be celebrated, to both be celebrated for the work that they're doing, and celebrated and encouraged for the work that they want to try on, to help them take risks, to help them explore the edges of their growth and capacity in ways that they might not otherwise do if they don't have those safety nets, which we see as part of this role, right? Wanting to create a structure where folks get constant eyes on their practice, and that they feel really seen for the work that they're doing for our students. And so I think what this model allows for is someone who really has a touch point and a deep understanding and connection to the work that's being done in the classrooms, and the ways in which we're actuating our mission for the students from a teacher support perspective.
Oh, that's great. Virginia, what would you add or build on?
Sorry, I just lost my screen. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing that. So I've in my time at Live Oak, I feel like the change has been driven by how do we fuel the power of the program. And I look back sort of 15 years ago and we were really working on curriculum scope and sequence and alignment and pedagogical alignment. So we get that down. And then we really wanted to make sure that the students were experiencing a differentiated program. If we really knew students well and we were meeting them with a curriculum that helped them realize what's the next best thing for them, we're doing a lot of differentiation. And in order to do that, let's bring a co-teaching model into the lower school. So we really pretty dramatically shrunk the student teacher ratio in a next iteration of like, how do we fuel the program? And then now I think this step is as we have along the way, but this feels like a big move in thinking about what does program leadership look like when it's performing at its best for the kind of program that we want for our students. And this is where the position of assistant head of school, who is really directing all of her time, Tanya's time, to the leadership of the program so that we can have strategic activities happening at the same time that the daily and annual needs of students and teachers are being met. That again, like Tanya said, people are well known, they're feeling seen, they're feeling supported in their growth. And we can be both reactive, but also very, very proactive to appreciate the needs of what the best kind of school can look like. So this model adds program leadership expertise to the program at a school that like all schools should, but I think in particular here at a school that very, very much values and appreciates the importance of the program decisions that we make for kids and the impact it has on their educational experience, both at the school and as they leave.
No, it's well said. And I want to ask you both one question that sort of will capstone this conversation. And I think it cuts to the heart of what makes Live Oak so special, which is, and Virginia, I'll have you start. I mean, this is a school that has evolved, and you just talked about different structural models, and many schools, when they try to change, it can be, just a total sticking point. And I think about, Live Oak, you have a change maker lab. Clearly, the ability to evolve, to grow, to get better is in your DNA. Do you have what's the secret sauce, or what is it about your culture, your community that allows for that? Because I feel like that is what will allow, here we are talking about this slight adjustment to be one that is embraced and ready to help the school move forward. But there's clearly something that either you've planted or has been there for many years. And what do you think it is that just allows the school to never rest on its laurels?
Well, I believe it's progressive pedagogy. So from the beginning, the school has adopted progressive pedagogical principles as the foundation for designing programs, and we study constructivism. And so by nature, if you are, true to your progressive roots and true to your progressive beliefs and philosophy of education, you are constantly asking yourself, what is needed? What are we seeing right now in our students and in the world in which they live? And what is needed for our students now and in the world in which they live and they will live? So as soon as we make that assumption that things do change, that things will change, and everybody gets on board with that, then that becomes the way school works. It does not mean at all that everybody who's in this building really loves change or goes with anything that comes their way. But the school studies change and understands change and knows that resistance to change is part of a process of change. That our early adopters can be sometimes our, vocal advocates, but also, may run us into some risky territory. So I think rather than letting anyone sort of suggest that that things won't change, we just assume that that's going to be part of the deal. It's not hard really if you think about it. The kids change. The kids are different every single year. Like if you go just back to the very basics, the children are changing before our eyes, and so it's just quite simply like look at what's around. But I would say if I had to simplify it, it is the progressive nature of the school's educational pedagogy.
Oh, that's great. And Tanya, you're somebody who came to the school, so I'm assuming you saw it, you recognized it, you embraced it, and you've lived it as both someone who's overseen a division and now someone who's overseeing both divisions. Your thoughts about what has made the school so successful in its willingness to evolve, adapt, change, and improve?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that what Virginia shared is a huge part of it, that I think we are a community that's curious by nature, that's curious as part of our mission and who we are. And part of that curiosity is around asking the why and the how around on what we do and why we execute. And what else is there? And I think something that's really beautiful about that process of inquiry and the community that we have is that there's always a willingness to dream a little, to ask the big questions, to say why not, to say let's try something on, let's take a risk. And one of the foundations of our program is that mistakes are magic, and I think we live and breathe that as adults as well. We know that something needs some tweaking, or we're curious about how something else might look different, and maybe we'll just try it, and it might be a mistake. And at the same time, I think that we have a lot of support for the process of that risk taking. That's purpose driven. I think the other piece of what allows us to shift is that there's not change to change, but the change is purpose driven. And the how and the why behind the what of the change is always really strong, that there's a lot of curiosity, co-creation, collaboration around the why we choose the what we're changing. And then the how is really important too. I think something that's really special about the team and this school is that there are a lot of supports when we're thinking about that change, that there's not an initiative or something we're working on that just leads with, oh, you figure it out. Right. Leona's role is a great example about as we think about different projects or initiatives, her support, as she talked about in the other video, her support of helping teachers, helping curriculum through that process. One of the purposes of our creation or our shift to this model is creating those extra layers of support to help folks move through, to help bring people along. And so I think that that those pieces of purpose, as well as support on the back end of our change movements, have been really important to finding success in that way.
That's super. Well, I think you're going to find great success from these searches, and I think anybody who comes to these roles is going to find both success and support from their peers and academic partners, including the two of you and others. So looking forward to working with you both on this search. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the remainder of the search. So thank you both today.
Great. Thanks, Gabe.